gonna do, and Kaden, today we're gonna do a little Q&A for our friends, family,
and for everybody that don't know who we are the Joneses.
Bitch.
Mike Jones.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna do a quick Q&A. Our opinions on love, life, marriage, relationship, finances, and we got Kaden in the background. Y'all go
Turn it off.
Y'all go hear him a little bit here and there because we can't get.
Y'all can go to his channel, Fun with Kaden Jones.
Yeah.
Cause he want to be in our video, but he can't.
So y'all gonna hear him a little bit in his little videos he's watching. So.
Cause he's a hater.
Some of our friends have submitted some questions, and we're gonna answer them, our viewpoint, and what we think, our opinions. In order for you guys to understand where a lot of our answers come from, we're gonna give you a little bit of a background bio of each one of us. So
she gonna go first.
I'll go first. Before I met this sexual piece of chocolate.
Oh my God.
Big old milk dud.
Cut.
Did you cut that? Don't you cut it. Turn it back on.
Mom got my back.
Anyway, so before I met Juneski, I was a single mother with 3 children, and we had just come out of a very bad domestic violence environment, household. My ex was very violent. There was a lot of drugs. There was a lot of alcohol.
You was on drugs?
Sometimes. I had to cope with the situation. I was subject to it. There was a lot of, like I said, a lot of violence. So I am a domestic violence survivor. Whoop whoop. October was our month. But we managed to make it through it. We managed to be survivors, me and the children both. I got my first degree before meeting Juneski.
No, she didn't.
Yes, I did.
She got it when I met her.
No, I was in it already.
Yeah, but
when I met him, I was toward graduation.
I went to your graduation.
So what? I was damn near done.
They put it in her hand after, at the very end, when I first met her.
I hate you. Anyway, so I did a lot of, I had to raise kids by myself, which is a normal story for most women. Being in a relationship with someone such as I was is a normal story for most women. Being stuck in the house, raising kids, no food, your typical Section 8 welfare food stamp story. That was all me. That was me. And having to fight every day to live and protect the children. That was also me. But I grew strength from somewhere, made it happen, and I am a product of that past today. So you'll see some of that during the answers. Okay, you go. Tad, you're it.
Oh my God.
Juneski.
Well, a lot of my homeboys and homegirls and friends around the world know who I am. I'm Juneski, aka Kill on the Beat, aka Arthur Jones, bitch.
AKA.
How the cameraman back there?
She your hype man.
That's my hype man. Wherever I go, it's always hype. But anyway, I was born in Los Angeles, California / Watts, California. For a lot of people that don't know that, really that's the same place. It's just a small little area that they designated as Watts, where the Watts riot was, where the dude was saying, I was born by the river.
Oh, I like that song.
He was killed there.
Oh,
and
man.
Great talent was lost there. But anyway, make a long story short, I was born in Watts. I moved to Las Vegas in 2007. I came out here to better myself and also educate myself because I have my degree too.
After we met.
I can show you mine.
After
it's
we
over
met.
There. It's not hanging on the
We
wall.
went to the graduation after we met.
She was ahead of me. I was a little bit behind her.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I got mines. You got yours too. Okay. Anyway, I produce music for a lot of people. I've done songs with quite a few groups. I'm not gonna name drop because I don't have to do that. You can just Google my shit. It'll come up. And,
Google me.
a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, they know me as an inspirational story or a person they can look to for inspiration, because I came from a family that, you know, was okay, but I've grown to do even greater things, which, you know, your children are supposed to do better things than you, or you would hope to have your children do better. I'm all about self-wealth, self-empowerment, and life, love, money, travel, you know, the same slogan on our YouTube channel, Juneski and Lady T. With that being said, I'm just an all-around guy. I just love living life and making my money and doing music and hanging on a motorcycle set and riding my bike. I mean, I have a lot of hobbies that I do. I'm an all-around guy. I'm the go-to guy. All right, that's enough being said about me. What? Why are you looking at me like that? You make me nervous.
Excuse me.
You make me nervous.
You didn't say much about your last relationship.
Oh.
What last relationship? T, you gotta go in the room if I tell this story.
Well, no, I'm gonna stay the hell right here.
Like T said, she came from a rough relationship. Me, I came from a relationship where it was one-sided. And when I mean one-sided, it went like this. The person that I used to be with, I don't know if they were jealous of me or whatever the case may be, but it was one of those situations where I kept pleading and I kept begging to this person, let me grow. And you can't hold somebody back from growing, especially when they have so much talent like I do, and I'm taking care of your ass. If you have somebody that's paying the bills, putting the food on the table, making sure you have all the necessities and everything that you need, you shouldn't pressure them if they're not bothering you or how did Caden, fun with Caden getting our video?
Cause he poof.
Oh my God. Oh, well, anyway, you shouldn't pressure your spouse but we'll get into that. Well, anyway, I had to leave that relationship based on the fact that the person was so desperate to try to humiliate and deprive me of stuff to where they lied on me, and I had my freedom taken away. Once I had my freedom taken away, there was nothing you could say, nothing you could do that would change my mind to make me go back into that relationship right there. So with that being said, yes, I came from a relationship where people took advantage of my kindness. And I ain't with that shit. So I searched and I looked around, and I really didn't have to look too far because I already had a friend that was in my corner even when I was in jail. Which I wasn't there long, I was in there 3 days. I make it seem like I was in there for 2 years. It was T. T came and picked me up. And then that's how, you know, me and T, we went to school together. We was at the same campus. Man,
What is wrong
bro.
with you? Can you edit him out?
No, I cannot edit his ass out.
Wait, so you didn't meet her at the strip club?
No, he did not.
Hold on,
meet
wait.
me at the-
I never said I met her. I said I went to school.
Well, let me ask that question later, okay?
Y'all are not gonna put this on this Q&A. That's what you're not gonna do.
Okay. So anyway, you know, that's just a little bit about my background. And that's about it. Let me sit back.
All right.
Okay.
Let's keep on talking.
That's okay, because you're cute.
Oh my God. So, questions.
Oh.
Excuse me?
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Your first question is from beep, 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 beep. I'm just kidding. Okay. She says, do you think that women do too much before they are married to their husband? And What do you think is acceptable in a relationship as far as doing for one another?
Okay. I might have to ask you that second question, but the first question I'm gonna answer it. Do I think women do too much before they marry?
I did a lot.
Yes, I think they do too much. Let me give my reasoning on why I say that. Well, first of all, it goes like this. And like me and T, we talk about this shit. We talked about it a couple times. And I'm gonna express how certain guys feel about going into a relationship with somebody that did everything.
And then I do the flip side.
Here's two examples. I was with this one girl years ago. This is before the other relationship.
Oh Lord.
It was one girl. Every time I wanted to go out, hey, let's go out to the club. We did that already. Let's go over here. We did that already. So every time I did something with this person, it was never fun for them. So if it's not fun for them and they're not vibing with it, it's not gonna be fun for you. Also, second thing, why I think women do too much, and it always come back to haunt the relationship in the end. And I mean, this goes for guys as well. Like, you're going out and you're doing everything for your boyfriend and not your husband. And when I say that, and I'm not down on anybody because I ain't with all that shit, but it goes like this. I have a friend. He's with a girl. She have a kid. And she have a kid. And she decided, I don't want any more kids. So she didn't made up plans for herself with a guy she never married. And so now when she got into a relationship with the new guy, the guy wants a kid, but guess what? She can't have a kid. So that makes it difficult for the guy you're with now, because you done did everything you wanted to do with the person that was a temporary person, ain't that what you were saying? You made a permanent decision with a temporary person.
Yes.
And now you're trying to make a permanent decision with a person that wants something out of you, and you can't even sacrifice nothing. So with that being said, there's a whole bunch of other things, and I really don't want to get too perverted. Like, you got people out here doing threesomes and all this stuff, and then when your new boyfriend find out, they want to go into, I don't do that no more. But damn, you gonna sacrifice? Not like that's a factor, but I'm just using that as an example. You give your all to temporary people, but when it comes to the permanent people, you don't want to give nothing. So, that's about it. Yeah. What's the second question?
The second part was, what do you think is acceptable in a relationship as far as doing for one another?
I think everything is acceptable when you're doing for one another. Finances, huh?
Is that
Is that before marriage or during marriage?
Yeah. Well, it look like it's before.
Well, if it's before,
And during.
well, if it's before marriage, and I'm not a saint, but it's one of those situations where I don't think you should sacrifice everything before you marry. That's just me. Because if you sacrifice everything before you're married to a temporary person, and some people it works out where they get married, what's left for the person that you're gonna make that permanent decision with? You get where I'm going? Because that don't sound right. Like, you went out and you done got phones in your name, and you done got an apartment in your name, and now it didn't work out, and now your credit is all fucked up, and now you can't give to the relationship because all your shit is fucked up. But that's just one example. I can go deeper, but your turn.
Well, sometimes women do too much before marriage, and it's nothing wrong with it, and it's not saying something bad towards that woman that's doing that. Women are nurturers. That's what we do. We nurture, we provide, we take care of, but we tend to do that with every single person that we meet. I think that for today's day and age, women need to be slow to doing activities like that. Like, if you're not getting in return what you're given, then that's a red sign. And a lot of times we don't pay attention to none of those signs that are being presented to us. And I feel like that's a prime example of a relationship that's going in the wrong direction. If you find yourself and you're the one that's I don't know what, a boyfriend, you're footing the bill. If you're footing the bill with everything, then there's a problem. If you're the one that's I don't know what, going out to eat and you're paying, there's a problem. If you're buying gifts for this person and you're not getting that in return, there's a problem. But I do understand why women do that so much. Is because we're trying to prove that we're better than the last, and we're much better than, you know, any of those that are to come after us, instead of just being who we are. And that's when women start to lose their self in men, is we give them everything that we have, and while most men are not, they're accepting it, but they're using it to their best benefit versus, you know, what you were planning out to give. Like when we first met, he would take me out to eat, I would take him out to eat. You know what I'm saying? He would buy gifts, I would buy gifts, and everything that we did was two-sided. Like he was mentioning earlier, your relationship ended up being one-sided if you're always finding out that you're the one that's constantly doing more and more and more in the relationship. And two, what you're doing is you're hindering that person from ever feeling like that they have to do anything, because you're always going to do it. So it goes from you doing it because you digging them and you liking them, to them expecting you to always have to do it. Then you find yourself doing more. Like Ski said, now you're like, oh babe, I need a cell phone. Okay, I'll get you a cell phone, because you're constantly trying to prove yourself. And as women, we always find ourselves trying to prove ourselves to that man when that man ain't proving himself to us. So what needs to happen moving forward, or at the beginning when you're building, to see if this man is the right man for you before you start putting your all out there, is you need to set boundaries. Like relationships don't have boundaries. A lot of relationships these days are not built off of boundaries. Make your boundaries. Put it out there. I will accept this versus I won't accept that. I'm going to give this and I expect you to give that. But if you don't have no boundaries and you haven't spoke up, what's potentially going to happen is you accepted it at the beginning, you accepted it during, and you're going to accept it after. And by the time it gets to the end where marriage is coming and he still ain't fixed himself or she still haven't fixed herself, you have no place to complain about it, because you did it when y'all first met, you did it when y'all was in a relationship, and now you're still doing it leading up to marriage. And my producer says wrap it up. Next question.
Yeah, because we're at 18 minutes.
Oh, we're 18 minutes. Wrap it up. Okay, next question.
All right. This next question is, it came with a little backstory. It says, how do you
Skip the backstory.
How do you handle disagreements?
We agree to disagree.
It goes like this.
What?
That's how it goes.
Oh, okay. Well,
How do you handle disagreements
I mean,
when it comes to spiritual beliefs?
I got it. I got it.
That's a good question right there, because
I got it.
Man.
I had to re-say it because her backstory isn't just disagreement.
Okay, so I'll go first. I am a spiritual woman, and my husband and I just had this conversation the other day. There's a difference between being spiritual and being religious. Two totally separate things. My husband and I, we tried not to talk too much about religion because of our different viewpoints. Now, when I first met him, he was just like, his questions was all over the place. He didn't, not approve, but he didn't agree with a lot of things. But that doesn't have any, I don't allow that to impact my spiritual belief or my religious belief, because mine is mine. If he wants to join in on mine, then, you know, as husband and wife, we can take that path. But I'm not a Bible thumper. Like, I believe all of what the Bible says, but he may not. In some instances, he doesn't. He believes in prayer. I believe in prayer. You know what I'm saying? But we tiptoe around that because we don't have the same spiritual or religious beliefs. But that's not going to stop me from loving my husband nonetheless. I know what the Bible says or whatever, but you have to meet each other in the middle somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this one lady where she was one religion and he was another religion, and the dating process was fine. The marriage process was fine. They were happy. Then they had a baby. narratives come, then that's when they become bumping heads. Okay, well, I want him to practice my religion. Well, no, I want him to practice my religion. Well, how are we going to come to terms? Well, I'm not going to back down, and well, I'm not going to back down. And those are things that need to be discussed beforehand. And my husband and I did that. I know how he was, what religion base he was raised on, and I know what I was raised on. But we always end up agreeing to where this is where I am, and that is where he is, in his walk and his belief, and in my walk and my belief. I'm not going to push mine off on him, and he has never pushed his off on me. Now, we've had those discussions, but we always end back to the beginning. This is where we are, and this is where we're going to be, and we're happy.
Okay.
Go ahead, because if you say something, I'm going to boop.
You see that?
Boop.
Domestic violence, the relationship she came from.
Shut up.
I'm in it. You saw that? Oh my. All right. Anyway, yeah, she's absolutely correct. It's one of those situations where everybody's not going to agree on religion, because I was raised a little different, and I chose to take the path of building my own religion. Basically, I take all the parts that I believe in and I implement that into my daily beliefs. You know, I'm the type of person that I will give my last. I will sacrifice everything I can to my friends and family before I even do for myself. But I also have certain beliefs where I have to question: is there a God? Is there a Jesus or anything like that? Not like I'm a atheist or I believe in Scientology, but it's just one of those things where I always have to question not my faith, but the road that I'm following to my faith. And so, like, you know, I will say some stuff to my wife. My wife will sit up out of her sleep and be like, I know you just say that shit. But that's the way I am. I question everything.
And that's okay. You're supposed to question, because if you don't question it, you don't learn.
Of course. That's just like when I was in college, and T can verify this. Did you have to take religious?
I love that class.
Okay.
I took it twice.
I took that class, and one thing that I learned in there is that all the Bibles are entwined. Mm-hmm. They're entwined. Like the Pentateuch and the Quran, it speaks of Jesus and Mary. And vice versa. Other Bibles speak of other people in other people's Bibles. And when it all boils down to it, it's one of those situations where he's over here pouring beers and everything. Why aren't you in my video, boy? But anyway, it's one of those situations where you just have to walk your own faith. That's just like on a motorcycle. You have to ride your own ride. Just because everybody is moving fast and going around, swooping through cars, you don't have to do that. You can take your time and walk your walk or ride your ride. And ultimately, you'll get to where you're going safely and without harming anybody or harming yourself. So that's the way I look at religion. Religion is a big part of our family. We believe in God, the Holy Ghost, and Jesus. I mean, that's what it is. But, you know, that's about it. We disagree about stuff and we agree upon things. So we agree to disagree.
And what was her second question?
She didn't have a second question. It was just a backstory on why she asked that.
Okay, give me that.
The backstory?
Yeah.
Alright. Her backstory was, I have a guy I've been talking to for 2 years now, and he is in the process of divorcing. He is a real good person and kind, however, he is real pushy about what he believes spiritually. He references spiritually a lot, whatever she said. I respect it totally. I'm not sure we will ever come to an understanding.
Well, the first thing that I would say, and this is just my opinion.
Oh, she said he references scripture a lot. I respect it totally. I'm not sure we will ever come to an understanding.
And you may not, but the fact is that how important is that person to you? And I would not so much focus in on him referring to scriptures and religion and Bible, I would focus on the fact that we've been speaking for 2 years and his divorce process is still a process. That's first and foremost. Because a lot of times when you deal with people like that and you've been talking to him for 2 years and he's still in the process of divorce, you're gonna have to question yourself. Why are you waiting around for him to finish? You've put your life on hold waiting for him to finish doing what he's doing, and to be honest, it may not come to pass.
And I would like to say something, and I know a lot of people gonna hate me for saying what I'm gonna say.
What you gonna say?
I went through a divorce and I owned a lot of shit.
You did.
It didn't take no 2 years to get no divorce. Even if you have kids.
What you say?
Next question.
Wait, I'm not done. But to that person, I would focus on you and your growth. While he focuses on him and his transition, I would focus on you and your growth. You know where you are in your religious walk. You know the things that you will accept and won't accept. You have to minus him out of the equation for right now. Put that on pause and focus and work on you. Because it seems like that's what's more important. Deal with those other issues later at a different time, because that's a whole different question and a whole different topic, but we can address that one too. I don't like being pressured and rushed through my Q&A, but go ahead to the next question. Thank you. Thank you. That's why you are not getting. Next question.
And it's been 27 minutes.
Oh baby, we talk too much. Okay, come on, next question. This is a Q&A. Okay, it's a Q&A.
How do you guys handle arguments? This is a good one.
Get your ass out of here.
I don't, because I will boop out his ass. Boop, right?
See?
Yep. Next question. Next question.
She's abusive.
I'm not.
Oh.
Boop.
Well.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Well, when me and Toya argue, it's funny when people see us argue because they be like,
are y'all really arguing?
that's it?
Yeah, because it's not an argue though. It's not an argument.
Or the kids we walk there talking about,
It'd be funny.
are you mad at dad? Because I can't tell.
Because I start doing this. No, we handle arguments by not arguing. Period. And that's like, that works for us. But here's my viewpoint of it. I am new age 21, and then he's knocking on.
I'm old age 90.
I don't have time for nothing. I don't have time for arguing. I don't have time for playing games. I don't have time for what do y'all call that? The silent treatment. I don't have time for none of that. Fuck all of that. It is what it is. This is the situation. We're going to either agree to disagree, or we're going to handle it. We're going to handle it one-sided, or we're going to handle it two-sided. We handle it one side, I'm going to tell you I'm going to come to you and be like, this is what I did to resolve that situation. Two-sided, we're going to get it done even better. But I don't have time for none of that. Me arguing is taking time out of my day to be doing something else productive. Okay, then. Go ahead.
She sound like she from Louisiana. Hi, Kashanta.
Hi, Lila. Go ahead.
Oh, anyway, it goes like this with me when I'm arguing.
Sorry.
The video.
Sorry.
See, that was a perfect example. You see how I shut up? I didn't say nothing. I kept my mouth closed. So,
Sorry. Go ahead.
once you learn how to keep your mouth closed and don't say nothing, they leave you alone, bro.
No, I don't like that.
They leave you alone, bro.
Don't keep your mouth closed.
Trust me.
You keep your mouth closed.
Real
I'm
men,
gonna start doing a whole lot of
men
this.
that know when to shut their mouths and let their wife just say whatever she gonna say. Please put that in the comments below.
No, don't.
Please put that in the comments
No,
below.
don't tell him that. You gonna call
You
trouble.
don't even have to say it so
No.
you wouldn't get in trouble. Just put Teen Jones at the bottom.
Don't not.
Or Teen Juice, it don't matter. But
I told my husband from day one, if he ever stops speaking to me, whether we're mad or in an argument or not, then I know that there is a serious problem. Don't just let your wife or your significant other go around this mudsucker saying what they want to say and you not saying nothing, because you end up looking like this, and then you're gonna get boo-bopped. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all too grown for that. It's too grown. It's time. it's come a time where y'all need to learn how to speak to one another and discuss situations and issues with one another and come to an agreement of this is how it's going to be. Y'all have to agree to disagree. You have to. Fuck all the rest of that shit. All that arguing, all that shit petty. Shit petty, get over that.
I can honestly say that when we have a disagreement, we have to talk to each other and discuss, a solution or whatever. Sometimes we might not come to no agreement or solution, but we will talk to each other so each other, one of us can have, both of us can have an understanding of exactly how the other person feels. Mm-hmm. And like I always said for the longest, I do not like having anybody, including myself, in a one-way relationship because that's not healthy for you and it's not healthy for that person. Due to the fact that when I hooked up with Lady T, I value her opinion, and I value her opinion very much to this day. And what would it be if I took away the thing that I cherish most about my wife? Her opinion, the way she thinks, and just basically her. Anybody out there know that 9 times out of 10, when your spouse is telling you something, they're not telling you for self-gain. They're telling you because they see something you don't see. Because there's been a lot of times where she told me some shit about people that I do business with, and come to find out it was true all along. And I had to swallow that pill. It was a big ass pill too. Damn, I wasn't enough water. She had to chop that motherfucker. She had to chop it up. I'm still feeling on this side, this side. But we learned how to have our own little way of communicating to get through our obstacles when it comes to arguments. Okay, next question.
I wasn't finished.
She's finished. Next question. Okay. Come
on, next question. Screw it. Forget it. Come on.
They had 32 minutes on.
That don't matter where we at. Come on.
How do you learn to trust again? How did you learn to trust?
Oh my. Can I go first? Because I know you.
Wait. How did you learn to trust and love again?
Can I go first? Because hers gonna be long. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you go
I'm gonna
first.
make me a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the store, come back, and
Yeah.
she's still gonna be talking.
Yeah.
All right, you gonna catch this 2-piece. Come on.
Domestic violence. Okay. Trust and love. That's what you said, right?
Yep.
Okay. I've had my setbacks. I had my ups and downs when it comes to this relationship thing. I found out that kids weren't mine. I found out things about people that they did behind my back. I'm not saying I was a saint and I didn't do shit, because I'm human, just like they were human. But it's one of those things where when you find out your own kids are not yours, it really hindered me from growing to love and trust people again. I would say this, fortunately, I was already in a situation where it took my mind off of, like, damn, my baby ain't really mine, and this person did me this way and this way, to where I made it through it lightly scathed. I wouldn't say heavily scathed, lightly scathed. And from there I pushed and I kept growing. As far as like falling in love again, as far as like trusting people again, I need to finish up this question. As far as trusting people again, that's where my friends and family came in to help me get through it, and tell me that, I'm bigger than that. And I didn't make the mistake, the other person did. But when it came to trusting people, it took me a very, very long time before I start trusting people with handling me, basically. Because I ain't trust nobody. I'm sorry to say that, I really didn't trust nobody. I looked at people and I thought I had somebody that I could trust, and they let me down too. They really let me down. But anyway, I've grown. I've educating myself, and also sitting here talking to T as far as since she's going to school for mental health therapy. She's helped me grow, and I've opened up. I even started back speaking to my mother because I had to stop talking to my mother for a while. And if it weren't for T, I wouldn't be talking to my mama at all. I don't put my trust in man anymore under any circumstances when it comes to having them, putting all my faith into a person. I just don't do that no more. You have to earn my shit. You gotta earn my trust. And there's very few people that will earn my trust. But I'll give you a chance. Next, you said the trust issue, and what's the second one?
Love.
Oh, love.
Love.
Again.
All right, let me put it in. Why you touching on me?
Come on. In the video?
Hey.
It's not.
She tried to grab my. Okay.
Well, I did.
Anyway, let me tell you this story. let me tell you this story real quick.
You said
I'm not gonna use anybody. I'm gonna just use
you.
T.
Oh Lord.
I'm gonna just use T.
Okay.
After the stuff that I went through, I had a difficult time adjusting to my new freedom. And I had met T, and me and T, we were talking to each other, and we were having fun and different things like that. We wasn't having sex. We wasn't doing nothing because, like I said, me and her, we went to college together, and me and her, we met through our college app. And anyway, make a long story short, me and her, we started hanging out, and the more we hung out, we found out we had a lot of things in common as far as like the way we wanted to drive our family to our success and the future, as far as like our aspirations and goals with our education, things that we wanted to do in the future as far as like self-wealth and self-empowerment, and I really liked that. And then later on, you know, like, I don't care, anybody can say this is not true, but this is true, and it never failed. The more you start hanging around people, the more you start acting like that person. And me and T, when we hooked up, well, I ain't gonna say when we hooked up, when we were, you know, basically just conversating and being friends, that's when I found out that Lady T, yes,
Okay.
she had feelings for me.
What? How you gonna put me
And
out there
that
like
that was crazy. But I mean, I felt the same way about her. I'm not gonna say I didn't.
Say that first.
I'm not gonna say I didn't. But it was just one of those things where it kind of like sideswiped me because I wasn't really ready to fall in love with somebody at that moment because of the situation that I had on the table. Like I said earlier, divorce don't take no 2 years. Because after I found out T wanted me, shit, that motherfucker was over in like 2 weeks. But anyway,
that voodoo.
Anyway, that's that Louisiana. Anyway, make a long story short, it was good to be able to be friends with the person before I got into a relationship. Not only did that open the door to me loving her even more, that opened up the door for me to get an opportunity to see exactly who I was dealing with and what I was up against by getting into a relationship with her. Because I knew about the baby daddy, I knew about the domestic violence relationship, I knew a lot about the children and the kids, and you know, her mother and her brothers and family members out here in Vegas, because I wasn't from here. But I really appreciated it that I had the opportunity to know what I was getting in. That's the reason why I married her. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. It wasn't even 2 days my divorce was before I got married.
Oh well.
I wasn't letting her go nowhere.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Okay.
You mine.
All right.
Ponytail and all.
Don't you touch that. For me, mine was a little bit difficult to try to learn how to love and trust again. I've always known what I wanted. My problem is the selection of men that I came across and trying to make what I wanted what they wanted. And it always ended up bad. Never the bad. I held on this concept like finding the right man for you was like shopping at Nordstrom's for some shoes. You keep trying them on until one fit. Don't do that. Don't work. But it was hard for me because of everything that I had been through with the ex, and I didn't know. It felt like to me that every man was capable of doing something, which they are. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's human. But the way that I had to learn how to love and trust again for me was reconnecting with and building my relationship with my religion and my God and what I believe and trust in and what the Bible has always promised me. So I had to actually take a leap of faith. I let go and let God. I let him do what he does, and I prayed. I prayed a lot because I knew what I was looking for, but I had always had these standards. He had to own a home, he had to have a job, and he had to have a car. Those were unrealistic. When I started, it was unrealistic. Like, the nigga would have a car, but no house and no job. So then I'm like, so how do you have a car? Oh, because you got a female. Okay, fine. And then he had two and not the other one. So it was a lot of mixing and matching, and I had ended up getting frustrated and decided to just not pursue any relationship with anybody, and then just to re-love me again after leaving where I was, learning how to love me, because if I couldn't love me, then I couldn't love nobody else. And loving my kids came naturally. It was what it was. But if I couldn't love the person that I am and that I was trying to be, then it would be unfair to the next person, because I wouldn't be able to love them the way that they deserve to be loved. And that's why I didn't put any real effort into meeting anyone until after I was at the end of my degree program, because being a single mother working and in school, I had no time for nobody else but for me and my kids and what I was already doing. So then once again, that would have been unfair to any male that I had came across. But like Ski said, when I met him on the school app and I found out that he had a job, a car, and a house.
Oh my God.
Bitch. Whoosh. I slid in that DM. Hello, excuse me. Hi, my name is Latoya.
I ain't gonna lie, when you first came in my box, I said,
No, I came
I
here.
said, this is some catfish right here.
Oh no, honey. No,
Whole
I
time
was.
that you met her at the strip club.
I did not meet him at the strip club. And why you telling children that?
Okay.
So
I know
anyway,
you. I
whoop,
know
we're
you.
not going into the story. Anywho, so I learned how to trust again. I learned how to trust again based just praying and praying and praying. A lot of people don't believe in prayer, which we've already been through that or whatever the case may be, but I prayed and I was, I did what I did with my kids. We was in church every Sunday, and I prayed that he sent me someone that I could build with, that was on the same page that I was that I was on, who wanted some of the similar things and who I could grow with. I wanted that house with that little white picket fence, and he gave me that. The white picket fence and the little house came a little later, but it's never the what do you call it? It's not the ending results, it's the journey. What you had to go through to get to where you're going. It's not the ending result, it's actually the journey and the process. That's where you learn the most, and that's where you can appreciate everything that you went through to get to where you were trying to go. So me learning how to love and trust again came through me talking to one man and one man only, and through his word. And that's where I ended up where I was. Next question.
Love.
I did love.
Yeah.
Should I slid into that DM?
Here go our love right here.
I slid into that DM like a bitch on roller skates.
Here go our love right here.
He's right here. Oh.
Can somebody come get our love and take
Next
him over
question.
here?
No, not her. Her hair's not home.
Okay.
Next question.
Oh.
Get the baby.
Get our love.
Next question.
Okay,
We're almost done, guys. Sorry, answers are taking a little longer than what we thought.
Do you guys share bank accounts and combine your finances and pay bills, etc.?
Yes, we do. Next.
No, she,
Next. Yes, we do. Next.
Okay. Yes, we do. Next.
We do, and only because we've been married. We've been married for almost 5 years. There's nothing for 5 years.
But y'all have y'all separate ones.
We do. We have one combined. Like I have access to his, he has access to mine. We each have our own, but we each have access to it, and then we have a savings account. There's nothing wrong with having his, hers, and ours. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, and I don't want nobody to misconstrue the concept. He has his that I have access to in the car too. I can withdraw, deposit, and shop. And he has the same thing to mine. Close your mouth. He can deposit, withdraw.
Oh,
and shop.
Hers always empty though.
Well, so I slid into his.
Oh.
And then we have our savings account. We built that when we needed a place to put our money for the house. So we have, yes, we do share. And finances, bills, everything we do together. We do as a couple.
okay. Great answer.
Thank you. And it was show.
Yeah.
Like Judy
Good.
or Kayla.
He's tall.
Do you guys support each other's dreams and why do you write like this?
Goals, baby, goals.
Goals?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Oh, and goals regardless if they seem feasible.
Oh, yeah. Because I know we get tired of my mouth. I'm right now at this point trying to struggle. I'm struggling with me, who I am, where I'm trying to go, and what I want to do. There's an array of things. I'm his humanitarian. He calls me his humanitarian because I want to save everybody. I want to help everybody. I want to be in the social realm, the aspect. That's why I went into mental health, because I want to help people. I want my own nonprofit. I want a dormitory for young mothers and babies. I want to save the world. I want to be on the next Black Girls Rock.
Yeah.
I want to be there. I know I can do it. See, that's the question. You saying I can do it, but is it feasible?
Yeah,
Can I do it? But anyway, he supports every dream aspect. I mean, I want to open 2 businesses that are like this humongous, and for me, they seem unreachable. They don't seem obtainable, but he will tell me every day that it is. It is. You just have to do it. You can do it, and vice versa. He's been doing music since I've met him. If I see it heading towards a dead end, or if I see a potential, I still have my husband's back, because at the end of the day, you are your mate's biggest fan. You have to motivate them, and you have to, push them to the limit so they can see how much, that they're worth what they're doing. You have to be, what do you call it? Supportive, I guess, in whatever that they do. Whether it seems feasible to you, it may seem feasible to them. So you have to be supportive, but also be opinionated. If you see your mate taking a turn that you don't think that's gonna work, voice that concern, voice your opinions. You're here to help them out, and vice versa. Be able to accept constructive criticism, because if you can't, it ain't gonna never work. He'll tell me, he hit me with a pro and con question about one of the things that I wanted to do, and I shut down and got mad through the notebook. Because that was not simple. That was the hardest question ever, but it shed light on what I was trying to do and how the approach that I was taking was wrong. And if he wouldn't have never asked me that question, I probably would have never had any guidance into what I wanted to do and what I was trying to do and the approach to take to it. But I didn't know, chuck that, but boom, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to talk about it no more. And even days after he even asked me, and I still didn't want to talk about it, because I still had not thought about the question or the answer to it.
It goes like this, and I'm going to do it this way, because I ain't really going to tell exactly what we were talking about. Whenever you open in a business, you have to have a vision statement. You have to do your SWOT analysis, and you also have to have a strategic business plan. But the number one thing is,
that's what I'm talking about. What the fuck is that?
The number one thing is, you have to know who your customers are.
I knew who
and
my customers
know what your product is you're selling. So if I ask you, let me scoot close to the camera. If I ask you, I say, hey bro, hey sis, I heard you opening a business. Yeah, I'm opening a business. What are you selling? And you ain't got no answer for me? How the hell you opening up a business?
Okay, back it up. First of all, I was not selling anything, and I knew what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
Okay, but, babe, what's your SWOT analysis? What the fuck is a SWOT analysis? What is that?
Strength, opportunity, weaknesses, and threat. Like,
Okay, I know that now.
Who around here is your competition?
I knew that now.
What
I
is
didn't
the
know
strength
that
of your
then.
company? What are you going to bring that's innovative to the market that your consumers are going to buy from you, opposed to going to Walmart or going to this place over here?
Why you gotta talk to me like that?
But it's
Dummy
one
it down.
of those things.
Dummy it down.
Well, what are you doing that's going to make bro and the old girl over here shop with you?
Oh, see, I would have understood that. You talking about what is your strategic plan?
But I mean,
I didn't know what that was.
She got it now.
I got it now.
now.
Y'all done took all that
She
information,
got it now.
planted it right here in this noggin, and I took off running. So believe that. But yes, the answer to the question is yes. Whether it's feasible to me or not, I'm still going to support him in every single way, and vice versa. You have to. But like I said, still be opinionated. Still give what you think. Still give your suggestions. Do all of that. Don't do it. Do it so that your mate, female or male, whatever. Do it so that your mate doesn't fail. And if they do fail, they don't fail alone. Y'all fail together. But then you gotta pick up, dust off, and keep on going. But always, always, always be there for your mate. Next question.
Did you answer?
He just did. We got to talk about SWOT analysis and stuff.
Okay. Do you submit to your spouse? She may. Okay, sorry.
Now I'm rubbing on her.
I'm gonna take all this, love it.
Sorry.
I give in to my wife all the time. If you walked in her room and saw all those purses and all that stuff in there, I actually do. I actually do.
Wait, hold on.
She got buckets of $300, $400, $500
Wait a
bags.
minute. Y'all burnt out. That's not even a question.
Oh, okay. All right. Do
Why
I
y'all
submit?
gonna put me
Do I
out there
like
like
give?
that?
Do I like give in? My whole check.
You do the math.
Good thing we make good money.
Y'all, that's not the... I submit to my husband. I do. There's different forms of submission, though. I submit to my husband as a wife is supposed to submit to her husband. But at the same time, my husband submits to me. Meaning that I submit to, I'm still traditional. I still cook dinner. I still have things ready for, I still wash his clothes. I still, if I know that he is working a longer shift and I know he likes to soak in the bathtub because of his back, I'm going to make his bath water. I'm going to cook his dinner. I submit to my husband because in my household, the males eat first. The females eat after. We don't eat after, but the males' plates are made first. Then me and my daughters, we make our plates. I teach my daughters how to submit to their significant others as well. To me, that is important because I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother always submitted to my grandfather. She didn't play no games though. Like it wasn't, when you talk about submission can end up for some people being one-sided once again, and it can be two-sided. Traditionally, and sometimes it was one-sided, but now we are more, not traditional. Now we're more, in current times or whatever, people take submission in like a totally different one. But I submit to my husband. My husband knows what my paychecks are. He knows everything that there is. Yes, I submit. Yes, I do. And there ain't nothing wrong with submitting to your husband. Your husband, your wife.
Not your
submit
boyfriend.
to your husband.
Not your girlfriend.
And your wife. Those who you submit to. Do not submit to boyfriends and girlfriends. Oh my God, this Q&A is about to be over because this little brat here, he's
trying to get him some promotion for his show, free
okay, well, I'm
advertising.
gonna charge his ass because he didn't ask permission and we ain't signed no
He
contract.
is dressed right now,
We
and he climbing no shoes on, flooding ass pants. Come on, bro. Ain't you kissing on my wife?
Anyway, guys, yes, for married couples, each other, men and women. Submit to your spouses. Spouses only. Not boyfriend, girlfriends, not side pieces, your husbands and wives.
And don't get me wrong, there's nothing with doing for your boyfriend or girlfriend in a relationship.
Nothing
It's
wrong
just,
with.
It's just one of those things where, like we said earlier, you have to pace yourself when you're in a relationship with temporary people. It's not permanent until you get married. That's a covenant between you and somebody else. When you just dating and y'all just having sex and you know just going out to the movies, there's no commitment there. And like I always told all my homeboys, and I still say this to this day, I don't play house. I'd rather be by myself.
You got damn straight.
I'd rather be by myself than to play games with people. I'm not gonna say I did it all and done it all and seen it all, because I'm still learning as the days go by. But one thing I can say is that I know enough to know when I'm being mistreated. And
this is a very hard Q&A. Next question. Wait, well first, the submission question, because a lot of people want to know what others think about that. I taught my daughters that there's two mistakes that people make often that they don't think of when they're doing it. Who you marry and who you have babies by.
Ooh.
One of them you cannot change ever. It's permanent, and that's who you have children by. Marriage can be done repeatedly. I don't know how many times you want to do it, but it can be done multiple times. So you always have to be careful with the decisions that you make and who you make them with. Like my husband had quoted what I said, stop making permanent decisions with temporary people. And then that is actually the main concept and the answer to every question that our producer has asked us this whole segment. The answer to all of them is stop making permanent decisions with temporary people. That goes back to the question of people doing too much before they're married. That goes back to the question of doing finances with one another. That goes back to the question where someone asked about the disagreements and the young person that's still getting divorced after 2 years. The answer to all these questions is, and if you live by this and die by this, they are answered. Stop making permanent decisions with temporary ass people. People are brought into your lives for a season. Just like the seasons of the world. You have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Take your life as a tree. A whole tree stump. You got a whole tree. Your tree got all these leaves, and underneath your tree you got all these roots. Every leaf that falls off is in a change of a season. Those who were not meant to stay in your life are those leaves. They will fall off and they will die. The people that are meant to stay in your life are your roots. They are the ones that keep you going. They are the ones that keep you alive. They are the ones that keep you strong. They are the ones that continue to help you grow. Determine where the people in your life are supposed to be. Are they supposed to be one of the roots, or do they belong as one of the branches and the leaves? If they are a branch and a leaf and they have fell off and fall off multiple times, push them to the side. They ain't supposed to be there. But if they have shown you that they are there in your corner, those are your roots. Keep your roots healthy. Keep growing based off of your roots. Outside of that, those two concepts, every decision that you make in life will come just that easy. That's why life making and life skills and choices and decisions look so easy for myself and Juneskis, because those two common concepts. If I see a bitch walk my path and she told me once before that we can't be friends because I got a boyfriend, bitch, you're a leaf, fall off. Matter of fact, if she don't want to, if it ain't even the season, bitch, I'm gonna go get a weed blower. I'm gonna blow her off because she wasn't meant to be there. But if I have someone in my corner that says, sister, keep praying. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. Call on God. Go to church. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be, whatever encouraging words that are given to me, I know that that person is a root. I'm going to keep watering that root. Two major concepts. Boom, drop the mic. Next question. We got some more?
Yeah.
All right, baby, come on, roll.
Is space okay in your relationship?
Hell yeah. Babe.
space.
My concept, yes, baby, space. Like
not space like, oh, I need my space. Like space.
I
like,
let my husband be a man. You have to let your mate be a man. If my husband want to go out and kick it with his friends, Go. You do that. What am I gonna do? I'm probably gonna clean the house. I'm probably gonna do a pamper me section in the middle of the bed, or I'm probably just gonna lay there with a cup, a drink, or something and watch movies. You need that space. It keeps your relationship healthy. He'd be like, babe, you wanna come? Nope. I don't want to come. You go off and do you. Now we do have our common concept, which is the motorcycle set. That's where we do a lot of our going out together versus, outside of like dinners and vacations and stuff like that, but I always give my husband his space. He's a man. I'm not gonna tell him that he gotta stay in the house up under me and the kids fucking all day while we just sit here and fucking do nothing. No, he needs to go. Whether it's riding his bike around the Beltway or all in Red Rock, he needs that time to himself. So yes, space is fine. I love space, especially during Christmas, birthdays, and anniversaries. I give him all the space that he needs because he definitely needs to concentrate when he's out there at the stores, when he's picking my gift. Next.
How do you feel about
And she's
space?
real nosy too.
I'm nosy.
She's real nosy.
Motherfucker.
She will go on the phone after and be like,
No, I won't do that. I
"They
won't
out
do
shopping
that.
for me because Ski and Tay is together."
I won't do that. Unless it's Christmas, because he be gone. I won't do that. Okay, well, how do you feel about space, babe?
I feel space is a good thing, and depending on what type of space you're talking about, I'm gonna just talk about the kind that you're speaking upon. It's good. Like when my wife go visit friends, because my wife is the only girl out of her mama's children, and she didn't have no sisters, but now she has some sisters from the club, and she gets to go out and go hang with them and go have conversations and do what ladies do. And I feel that that's a good thing, because if I was the only boy in my family, I probably would have lost it by now. But it's just one of those situations where even myself, I'm getting used to the concept of, damn, I could really just walk out of here and she ain't even tripping. I be gone. A lot of my homeboys be like, man, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's good, man. Y'all gotta have that understanding. Yeah, I think it is good that we have this understanding, because I'm enjoying it. I don't take advantage of it. I don't abuse it. I don't be gone for no 2-3 days. So,
Well, that's kind of extreme.
Next week I'm gonna be gone for like 2-3 days.
All right.
We going to Compton, right?
Who is we? Okay. Yeah.
You ain't going.
We gonna. Don't tell me why I'm not. I will be in that car behind you.
What car?
Mine.
You ain't driving that car.
I-
You going on ground. That's why I made you say it in front of prayers. And your mama. Okay, but yeah, I think space is a good thing where, you're not bombarding. You know what? You can love your spouse so much to where you crowd their space, and instead of y'all coming closer, it'll start actually driving a wedge between you, because what you have in front of you, it pushes your mating away, and you don't really want that. So, give everybody some space. I'm not saying get them space where this was something we was talking about the other day. This other type of, I need some space. And then now your dude going off seeing who he wants, she going off seeing who she want, and then now the fun is over and y'all trying to hook up, and now he got a baby in the way. Or she pregnant. Or he got AIDS. Or she got something. And you don't want to bring that to your relationship.
That type of space should be a deal breaker, 100.
Yeah.
There ain't no reason why you should ever need space from your mate. If y'all can't figure it out, or if y'all can't come to a conclusion on how y'all should fix that lack of space, nah, bro, we good.
Yeah, I'm cool on all that.
I'm 21. I'm grown.
Girl.
Next.
Is that it?
How do you guys handle trust issues if you have any?
I ain't got nothing. We
I don't got none. See, I'm gonna tell you the one trust issue I got.
No.
With
Well,
this
yes,
one with
tell
this one
me.
over here.
Tell me.
How come on Fridays?
Where you going?
Because I need to scoot up to the camera so they
move
can
out
really
here.
understand. Why ain't you trying to hit me?
Cause you acting out. How come on Fridays?
Bear, I told you, bro.
How come on Fridays?
I told you.
Cause this is new to me.
How come on Fridays? Dude, go my phone on
No,
the charger.
come on. How come on Fridays?
Because I'm going to have facts to back this up.
How come on Fridays?
How come on Fridays? It's supposed to be me and my wife's day that we go to Applebee's or Chili's, like y'all see in the show. Juneski and Lady T.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Hey, how come every Friday my wife, she go, into my banking account on Fridays. Coffee, donuts, milk, cereal, cheese, salad. Hey, I'm the last one to know.
He's not the
Remember
last.
that part about sharing your banking accounts?
And remember that part where he said mine be empty? Boo. Next question.
She make more money than me.
I don't have any trust issues, and he don't either. I tell him that I went and bought milk cereal. The kids gotta eat if we going out.
I can say this. And she ain't gonna do nothing till you can answer. On Friday,
Shut up.
Why I gotta
Don't
be
ask her
quiet?
nothing.
On Friday morning when y'all went to Turnberry, did your mama buy milk, cheese, and cereal for Kayla and Christian?
I didn't buy milk, cheese, and cereal
You
on
bought
Friday.
something from the store?
Something to make me a sandwich with. Next question. Shit. Come on, got me hiding shit over here. I need a fucking antacid. He got me with gastro. Come on, got my heartburn.
A lot of people feel like if they're significant,
Significant, baby, I got you.
Significant.
I got you, baby.
Just say partner.
If their partner, that was easy. Other whatever, don't share them on social media, then there's some sort of issue.
Hold on. So, in other words, what you're saying is, if I'm just
If
saying,
I don't post
if your boyfriend or girlfriend don't post you on social media,
Then it's a problem.
there's a problem. Okay.
It
I'm
was
just-
at the beginning. Yeah, it was. Was that
I
the
was
question?
gonna give my opinion.
You can give your opinion, producer. Pause. At the beginning, it was. It was because my husband was well known out in Cali, and I know for a fact from the stories that he told me, I know that there was a, don't be making that motherfucking face. I know that back in Cali there is a slew of girls that has wanted to get with my husband since he was a kid up until now.
That's true.
I know it's true. So with that being said, when they found out that he was divorced, all the fucking floodgates of hell open. We had females everywhere. Boop, 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 talking about what happened to them. It was supposed to be their turn. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool on that. That part I'm cool with. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? I got him. He mine. I ain't done. But what threw me off was because I had noticed that my husband along his feed, there was never a happy birthday to my lovely wife, no pictures of us out kicking it and hanging, no nothing, no hearts that he put on his wall that was tagged to me. He wasn't tagging me or nothing, and I spoke on it. Being mouthy like I am, I fucking spoke on it. Why don't
I got
you flipping in her yes. What?
Hey, she's not gonna throw me under the bus.
Yes, I'm going to. I'm not done.
Hold on.
I'm not done.
But let me address that.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. So I hit him with that banger. Why am I not? Why is there no pictures of you and I on your Facebook? Why are you not speaking to me back and forth on your? Why am I not
Can I
tagged?
answer that?
No, nigga, you did then at that time. So. So his answer to me was him posting me and sharing me all on Facebook does not constitute whether he loved me or not, right? So I said, okay, cool. All right, I feel you. That's bullshit. Anyway, moving on. That was a problem for me at the beginning, but I had to. Ooh, really? You're rude. I had to really go back to what I was telling y'all before. I had to analyze that. Is that a big issue? No, it's not. Am I grown? Yeah, I'm grown. Do I trust him? Yeah, I trust him. Was that actually an issue after I thought about it? No, it wasn't. It's actually pretty fucking childish when you actually put some thought into it. He don't need to put me out on Facebook to pronounce his love to me. The fuck? You don't have nothing to prove to nobody. Who you date, who you having sex with, who you chilling with is your business. You ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody out there. Nobody. So yes, at the beginning it was an issue. Now it's not, because how I handle that is I just tag his ass and everything. Okay.
You know how she handle it, y'all? She making me do a whole TV show, Juneski and Lady T.
But then if they even post you on social media, that don't confirm or deny.
No, it
anything.
doesn't. It don't confirm nor deny. All, like I said, all it's doing is letting people in your business. How do I not know he got a side bitch like, oh yeah, that nigga just putting her on there to keep her satisfied? No, bitch, don't put me on there at all. Let me be the best kept motherfucking secret. That's how I feel. Let me be the secret. So then when I see this bitch out in public, I'm like, boop, you thought I was fake, bitch, I'm all the way 100 real. Boop.
Okay, so that was it for the question.
Oh, babe, you want to answer? Go.
No, I want to say nothing now.
Boop.
But one last question.
All right.
So, how do you guys handle you guys' relationship on the set? Like, you know how some people relationships on the set, it really ain't like, it's everybody relationship, you know?
Meaning that you have a whole lot of
people in your relationship.
He might have to bleep this out, but you're meaning like there's a lot of dick and pussy bullshit going on the set. How do we handle that? He know his place. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm bleeping that the fuck out.
No, how we handle ours on the set is that the same. We don't let the set change who we are and how we move. Who my husband is at home is who he is on the set, and vice versa. When we're out there, there's no need to be in people's face. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to be involved in conversations that we should not be involved in. He know he married. I know I'm married. If he forget, I'm right there at the bar to pop it on back in him. But I'm just kidding. No, we handle our relationship on the set the way we're supposed to. If we having a big disagreement at home and we haven't like resolved that yet, when we go out, we don't let that play a factor while we're out. We still do what we need to do while we're out on the set, and when we come home, we handle it then. We keep home and set.
You know what? Let me comment on that.
Go ahead.
Babe.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Babe, you owe me.
But I'm listening.
Mom. Producer.
Get off.
Security, get your mom off me.
Come on.
Get off.
Get your mama. Get her off me, dude.
Okay, sit right here.
Get her off me, dude. Pull her off. Thank you. Okay. Here's how I feel about the set. I did not come on the MC set well,
Male club.
Well,
Motorcycle.
man's club, but I mean, you know, it's I didn't come out on the Las Vegas MC set to find females. When I came out on the set is because of my homeboy 3D and the events that, you know, are always being thrown. And also, I love riding motorcycles. I used to ride all over the place by myself, and it took a whole lot of convincing my wife. It took her brother and almost everybody in the club to convince her to allow me to go out on the MC set and join the club. I mean, I could go out on the set. She never held me back from that. But as far as like joining the club, and everything was good. I didn't have no complications with anybody, or you know, no females approaching me with no weird stuff. But I've learned to observe and see what's going on, so I don't get caught up in no BS on the set. Because there is a lot of times I was out there and something happened, and everybody was caught off guard by the actions that were taken, or fights, or whatever the case may be, over some girl messing with some girl man, or some guy messing with some guy's woman. But me and T, we don't let that affect us, because due to the fact that I know where I live, and I know who I'm married to, and I know what would happen if I come home. Like as y'all seen earlier, she hit me here and here, and she pinched me, but y'all to see that. I do not allow outside BS to come into my house, because this is my number one priority here. This is my priority.
I know that females, they flirt. I see them, half the time I see him flirting while he's at the bar or whatever the case may be. But don't do me. I am not blind to the fact. I see it, but I don't pay no attention to it, because like he said, he know who he married to. He know where home is at, and we handle our business different. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's a common concept about the set where everybody fuck on everybody's mate. That's not it. I'm not saying that it happens, but it happens in life anyway. So it don't have to be just the common. It does. It happens. It happens.
But I'm just saying that's not true. Everybody don't do that.
No, but
everybody
I'm
got
saying
a concept
that is a common
that the
concept.
set is swingers hang out. That's
fucking
that's
everybody's
not true.
people. That's a common. I know it's not true, but it's a
Look at
freaking
them
common
having a
concept.
disagreement.
Nonetheless, we agree to disagree because it's the same answer. That is a common concept because I've had a lot of people come to me asking me how am I able to be, for the person that I am and the education that I have and my position at work and all that, how is it that I'm able to be on a motorcycle set when this and this happens? Yeah, it happens, but like I said, it's gonna happen. It happens in life anyway. So you don't have to be on the motorcycle set for that type of shit to happen. Somebody told me it was the devil's playground. It's the devil's playground for those who allow it to be the devil's playground. Point blank and simple. I am married to my husband. Women are gonna be women, men are gonna be men. It's all on the way he handles himself out there and how I handle myself out there. We're married. You know what I'm saying? We keep it 100 with each other always. It may make him mad or it may make me mad, but we, like I said, agree or disagree and we talk about that shit. But we handle the set life just how we handle our regular life. That's just something an extracurricular activity for us. We take it serious, but it's a part of our lives, but we don't allow that type of behavior and outlook on the set to impact what we have going on as far as our lives go in our home. So we be out there kicking it, repping the Las Vegas Mother Chapter, Rolling Divas. VP over here. What's that you repping?
Ooh, and no.
MC or gang?
Don't play with me.
Okay, so how do you guys handle each other's opinions on outside situations?
Such as?
Like, say he telling you a story about something and then you have an opinion on it, but his opinion is like different from yours. Well, like if y'all talking about a different couple and he be like, well, I think he was right, and then you be like, oh, well, I don't think he was right, I think she, you know.
Well, we listen to each other's viewpoints of the situation, and we do sometimes find ourselves saying, I don't think that that's accurate, and then he'll tell me, well, I don't think that that's accurate. But when I plead my case and I give the facts of what I know and what I think as far as my opinion goes, and then he gives his, then for me and Ski, it always ends up being neutral. That common fact. Oh, okay, babe, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, cool, I got it. So we're thinking like this, and this, and we always agree to where we actually end up, getting with that couple or that person. And we always end up making an impact on their lives with our opinions because we collabed and we came together with his side, my side, and their side, and what we think and how we handle our business on this end, and we apply it to them, and we do the best we can to help. But most definitely we discuss quite a bit because we like just like he likes to help others. He likes to mentor. I like to mentor. You know what I'm saying? Because we like to see people grow and become productive and be able to live the best life that they can.
Oh,
Well, okay, guys. Thank you guys for the interview.
No nibbling.
You guys don't get paid for nothing that you just did. Okay, yeah.
Signing out. Lady T.
and Juneski.
Hope this was helpful. We will try to do another one with more narrowed down answers and less activity with the mini-me running around. Big deuces, big ups to our producer, Queen Tay. Follow her on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. She did a really good job with collecting all of our questions and dictating this here series. Stay tuned because in the month of December, we will be doing Vlogmas. You don't know what that is, do you?
No.
He don't have an
Never heard
idea
that.
on what it is, so
I'll explain it to him. But stay tuned because that is going to be something you don't want to miss. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow us on love life, relationships, traveling, and most definitely food.